That agent just got a check for $540,000.
Holy!
I did the work. He actually spoke like 10 times, during those several months.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Annuity Fundamentals. I am your host, Kylie Malott, joined with your co-host, Ryan Anderson, and our very special guest that we are welcoming back for the second time, Mr. John Carter. This episode is going to be really special. John was on before with us, and we just couldn't wait to have him back, so we're super excited to have him with us today. John has been in this industry for 28 years. So if you're a new agent and you're looking for some longevity in this career, take some notes, listen up. This is the guy you want to hear from. He's quite incredible, and we're going to hear a little bit about him today and from him. So we're excited. Thank you so much, John, for joining us again. We're super excited to have you back.
Thanks, Kylie. The only problem today is going to be cutting it short because I could go forever. I loved being on with you guys last month or two.
Great. That was one of our most popular episodes too. But just in case anybody out there has missed it, let's just kind of give a recap of exactly who you are. You're the Senior Vice President for U.S. Life. And your career, as Kylie said, it was 28 years long now. And most people in those careers take one of two paths. They're either a producer or they're a leader. You, frankly, have pretty much crushed the world in both categories. In your last company or former company, you were put in as a manager over an office. And if I remember right, it was number 400 out of 400 offices production-wise. And in 1 year, you took it to the number one office in the country. Did I remember that story correctly?
You did. And it was fun. We basically had to close the office down and take everyone to Hawaii for winning. It was great. That
would be it's the price I'd be willing to pay. I'm just saying that. But more so on that. But if you, on a personal production level, that you were the number one producing agent for that organization nationwide for 5 consecutive years. That just doesn't happen on accident unless you've got something worthwhile. And that's why we've got you here, and we want to talk to you about something worthwhile. The other podcast where you talk about the EDGE method and you talked about how to fact find is just fantastic. And we teach classes on helping agents move from health to wealth. And that podcast has become a required watching for our episode on, or for the class on fact finding. But today we want to talk to you about something else. We want that if I'm a Medicare agent or if I am a final expense agent, how do I get into the bigger stuff? How do I move into annuities? How do I move into the large life, IULs or whole life, or maybe AUM if I have a securities license? How do I actually get into where the really profitable stuff is?
Yeah. How do I make money? Yeah. I get it. And that's what I love to talk about. So a couple of things. I get really excited talking about this because this is what's on everyone's mind. Mm-hmm. I hate it when people come on and they're speakers and they start talking about something that's really important to them and you're like, it's kind of boring, but whatever, I can grab one or two things. I hope that we talk about everything that is truly on our listeners' minds today. Number one, make money. How do I do it? I just sent out an email to we have over 1,000 partners that utilize our strategy across the United States. And I try and stay in touch with them a couple times a week. And by the way, if anybody listening to this wants to be on that email, just reach out to Ryan and Kylie and we can get you hooked up.
We'll put the link we'll put the link in the caption below. So we'll make sure.
Perfect.
That way, if they want to do it, they can go ahead and join it there.
Yeah, because we want to feed you. That's I have a passion for feeding you. How do you go from advisor or agent to leader? I actually love both, and in my current role, I can do both. So I'm just saying, a lot of people say, John, I don't want to take up your time or whatever. No, I was born to coach. I've coached 35 different high school sports teams and little league teams, etc. So I love to coach and I love to help out. So how do I win? How do I compete? The message from my email 3 days ago, and we can send you this email, was we had an agent that came on and said, hey, I've got a prospect, a potential client who is thinking about moving their money to Fidelity. How do I compete with a huge firm like Fidelity? And the response is simple. Easy. We can compete with Fidelity, no problem. What I want you to start with is stop thinking of yourself as just an insurance agent. Stop thinking of yourself as just helping people with Medicare. Stop that. Like seriously, you've got to get rid of that. You've got to get rid of that. And what I want you to think of is, how do I become someone looked at as a trusted financial partner? That's the key. That's the key. It doesn't matter if it's your neighbor, your spouse, your friends, your colleagues, your little league sports parents. It doesn't matter. How do they perceive you first and foremost? And so you've got to come to the table with confidence that you can help them with their finances. Now, if you can only help them with insurance or Medicare, then you're limiting yourself. The cool thing is our team can support you and bring to the table all those other areas, which is just fantastic for getting a seat at the table for winning the bigger share of wallet. So that's a lot. Let me pause there and say, Ryan, does that bring up any questions or thoughts?
Well, a couple of different things here. Now, as we're going through and we're doing that you guys have got the Flexmethod, which is amazing. And it takes IULs and couples it with some strategies that are just, I love, because it really leverages the premiums, it leverages the policy and strength. There's some tax benefits to it, and there's some really cool things about it. But as we're talking about that what I love most about your guys' organization is I have seen these, I've done several of them, I've talked to many people in your office about it. I still fully don't understand how they work. And I'm okay with that because you guys do. I literally call up, I say I need an illustration. They send me an illustration. Then I meet with the client. I put them on the phone. It's basically, and I'm sitting there, playing games on my phone while you guys are doing all the work, and I get a check a month later. And that's right. Talk about great. It's like, how do I get this in every other area of my life? So
that's what's so awesome. Think about it. If you're going through a legal situation, it could be a divorce, a car accident, something, and you walk into a law firm, how cool is it that no matter what your issue, they're like, well, we've got an attorney for this over there, an attorney for that, an attorney for that, and an attorney for that. How would you feel as a client? You feel like, oh, that's awesome, because my neighbor's an attorney, and I asked him all these questions, and he's like, I don't know. I just focus on civil cases, or right? And that's what it can feel like being an agent out there in the real world, is you feel like you're that solo person sitting there going, well, I don't know, I specialize in this. And what I'm introducing you to or inviting you to do is say, join our team and have that full slate behind you. You get my 28 years, you get our CEO and his 37 years, and you get our wealth consultants and their decades of experience. It's just really cool. So I want you to think bigger about yourself and your career, and stop waking up in the morning thinking, does anybody really want life insurance, or does anybody really want an annuity, or does anybody really want Medicare? Like, stop that and start turning it around and saying, what do they want? And what's the answer? The answer is people want financial security. People want financial success. And if you can have a conversation about that, just bring them to us and we'll talk about the details. We'll get to a point. So when you talk about how do I go from small life producer to large life producer, I know it sounds like a sales guy, and I'm just not that guy. I love sales. I love it, but I'm not trying to sell to you right now. I'm trying to educate. Like, this is the way to make a lot more money, period. It's not to just hit up the big zip codes and hope you get 1 out of 100 that's going to, answer your call. It's to talk to people you already know and present yourself as somebody who can listen to what they're needing, wanting, concerned about, and then saying, I think we have a fit. I think we can address exactly what you just said. Let me bring a partner in here, someone like John, who I've met on a podcast or whatever you do, and that's where you can brag about your team and say, look, let me bring them in. And your job is what Ryan said. It really is to bring the clients to the table, give them a small little smattering of what we do. We use investments, we use insurance, we help with taxes. What client doesn't need help in all three categories? All your job is to find one. Like, are you nervous about the markets? Check. Do you want a legacy for your family? Check. Do you hate taxes and wish you could mitigate those taxes? Check. Just find out what their pain point is or what their biggest priority is, and then bring them to us.
I love those 3 points here. Let's focus on the tax piece. Help us identify this. Now, you've told that these agents can help you. They can go through and do that. And as far as identifying something, but give us more nuts and bolts, boots on the ground. Where's the rubber hit the road? Whatever little scenario you want. I'm an agent. I am meeting with a client for Medicare, or I'm meeting with them with life insurance. Give me specific language. Give me the scenario.
You got it.
How do I actually apply this to, and if they, in their fact find, they complain about taxes or they say legacy. What do I do? I mean, give me the tools to go forth and actually apply that.
You got it. Here's the tip. Put yourself in their shoes. Like, before you meet them, talk to them, or while you're talking to them, if you've got a brain that can do both, put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, do I really want to hear about this guy selling Medicare? Do I really want to hear about this gal selling insurance? No. Let me just be as direct as I can. No. What they want, so that's why a lot of people who are listening to this right now are wondering, what do I say? And what I tell them is, stop that. Stop asking what to say and start asking how you can ask questions and listen. The top people, the top producers are always going to be about listening. So how do I do that? I still need language, like Ryan said, to do that. So I want to go in and say, look, you're a business owner. Tell me what your biggest 2 pain points are. And almost all business owners are going to tell you taxes, hiring and retaining talent. Okay. Great. Tell me more about that, like taxes. Touch on that. Let them talk. They're going to take you where you need to go instead of the opposite, which is what most new people to the business do, and they start getting exasperated, like, I don't know what else to say, and I'm running out of wind. Stop doing that. Stop and start asking and let them guide you right to the finish line. You said taxes. Tell me about your tax situation. Oh, gosh, it's the worst part about owning a business, and I got to pay taxes on employees. I got to pay taxes on profits. I got to pay taxes on my building. I've got to do that. And by the way, I'm selling my business, and I'm scared to death of the tax bite I'm going to face. And will I have enough afterwards to live on? And do I need another job? The language to use is, I work with some of the best tax professionals in the United States. Did you write that down? If you're listening to this and you didn't write that down, please do. I work with some of the premier or best tax professionals in the United States. See, you didn't have to be a tax expert. You don't have to solve their tax issue. You don't have to get into the details of these taxes. You simply need to represent that you are the head of a team with the experts to help relieve their pain. Okay? Same with investments. My investments have done great this year, but I'm scared the market's going to crash during, before, after the election, whatever it is. I'm scared of China. I'm scared of Russia. Who knows? But there's fear out there. Mm-hmm. I work with an investment firm that has a strategy that is truly second to none in the industry. And it'll help protect you more than almost any strategy out there. Like what? Wow. Wait, just like... How much did you tell about our taxes? How much did you tell about our strategy? You didn't. All you're doing is saying, like walking into that law office and the person right there saying, we can help you with that. As a client, that's what you want to know. You don't need that person at the front desk to go into all the details. You just need to know that we'll take care of you. That's who you are as the agent. You're the one, you're the gatekeeper. You're the one to say, you've come to the right place. I'm your person. Let's set something up. Sorry, Kylie, go ahead.
No, I was just going to go off of that. And I think that's a great mind shift that agents need to have, is about teaming up and having a circle of influence. Because as an independent agent, you're right. Sometimes you think, what do I say? And I think you need to have the mind shift of, what questions do I ask? Because really, the value isn't what you say all the time, because you will get winded. If you've been in the industry 5 minutes, you're going to run out of things to say. I know people are listening and they hear your voice, John, and they hear your cadence, and they know that you have almost 30 years of experience by just the way you speak. And that's it. You bring a calmness to the meeting. So that's what agents need to bring, because you know that you're not the tax expert, so you don't need to worry about it, but you know one. You're surrounding yourself with people that are of value. So you don't have to be the one-trick pony. Because that one-trick pony, it might do a lot of tricks, but none of them well. So you want to do what you do well, surround yourself with other people that they know what they're doing. And that's why Ryan brings Brian into his meetings, and Ryan sits there and lets Brian do all the talking, because Ryan's good at what he's good at. And Brian is good at what he's good at. Let's team up together, because there's plenty of fish in the sea. I mean, 10,000 people are turning 65 every single day saying, now what do I do? Every single day they are having that question. They're sitting down, they're having pillow talk with their spouse and saying, what does the next 30 years look like? The conversation before was, let's save for retirement. Let's get to retirement. But all right, now we're in it. And so us as agents or new agents are going in and they're saying, now what? So you need to be prepared as a new agent going in to answer the now what questions, but asking questions. This is a relationship business. And that's not just with the client. That's with your circle of influence and saying, hey, I know a guy. John's really great at this. Like you said, I have backing. I'm not the tax professional, but I know one, and we'll get you the help that you need. And so I think
even personalize that more than I know one is, that's part of my team.
Yeah.
Right.
Oof.
Let's build the relationship to where it's like, look, I'm the head of this team and I've got the experts behind me. Some of the greatest presidents and leaders in the history of civilization weren't always the front smart guy or gal. They were the ones that built incredible teams or cabinets behind them. And that's what you're going to do, because you're going to run out of wind, like we've said. And number two, you're just not going to have the expertise in all the fields that the client needs expertise in. So we get some agents that come to us and say, hey, how do I find people? And I'm going to be super direct again, and it might hurt, it might sting. But if I told you how to find people, I don't need you. Your job is to find people who have needs and concerns. Our job is to help them, serve them, show them a strategy, and do all of that. Okay? Know your role. That should actually be a breath of fresh air. That should be like, okay, good. So my only job really should be, I just got to meet people and bring them to the table, instead of meet people, bring them to the table, learn about taxes, learn about insurance, learn about Medicare, learn about investments, learn about all these things. No, I just simplified your world, but you do need to know how to find and meet people. That's the tough news. The good news with that is, who's our strategy good for? Well, if you were listening to this podcast for the last 15 minutes, who would you think it's good for? And the answer is, it's easier to find who it isn't good for. Like, who doesn't need help with one of these financial areas? And the answer is no one. Like, the billionaires need help. Trust me, I work with a billionaire right now, and he's lost. You think your life would be so easy if you were a billionaire. Guess what? It's not. He has fears, concerns, priorities, needs. Well, mom and pop have it as well. So it's good for anyone, because we're so mobile. And I want you to be nimble and mobile as an agent. I want you to do that. I want you to take off your hat of being a one-trick pony who wants to become a two-trick pony and say, no, I want to be the head of that law firm that has 10 attorneys behind me. I want to be the head of that financial team that has 30 financial experts behind me. And that's what we're inviting you in to do, and to join us if you're interested. It's the best way to go. Why do so many agents not make it? They're living on an island. They're going solo. They're not getting coached. They get frustrated. They get a great client who says, okay, but I need you to help me with taxes first. And you're like, well, I know someone. They're like, well, I know 100 people who know someone. No, they're part of my team. Oh, okay, cool, let's talk to them. I'd love to get another opinion about that. And you're like, I'm in the game.
Yes.
So
I think that's key. I mean, that just took me back to being like 12 years old and my sister telling me, know your role. Like, know your role, right? I was the little sister. I needed to understand my role because I was trying to get into her territory or something, you know? And I think as agents, we take that term independent a little too serious. We take it too far, and we think we own every role and we do it poorly. So you're right. When someone asks us a tax question, oh, I know somebody, that sounds so different from, oh, I have someone on my team who can help with that. You stay in control. You don't pass the buck. And I think growing that center of influence and opening your mouth, new agents, get out there, take people to lunch, go to people's office, go to conferences and rub elbows with other people who are good. You don't want to rub my tangent. My brother was sick a few years ago and no one could figure out what it was. And my sister took him to the University of Washington and she's like, do you guys know what you're talking about? And he looked at her and he said, ma'am, we got A's in college. We got A's in medical school. We are not the B's and the C's. And I think that immediately gave her some peace. Okay, someone who's invested, right? People who are talking about from Medicare to retirement, they want to talk to someone who knows what they're talking about. They don't want to be your first client. Even if they are your first client, you don't let them know you're their first client, right? Because they want to have security. You're talking about large chunks of money, their life savings, and so you better know what you're talking about. So also and you can't know everything about everything. That's impossible, right? We're not all experts. I'm sure I'm better at things than John and vice versa, right?
100%.
And that's why we have each other. And so independent agents, he's right. As you're writing things down, you need to also be looking for contacts to make. If you don't have someone in tax distribution, find someone. Find someone to put on your team. I think creating a team is what is going to keep you from petering out in 2 to 3 years because you can't do it all.
Yeah, and that's good news. I'm not kidding when I say it's good news. Do you know why? How did we start this segment? How to make money. Mm-hmm. Do you want to be, most people who get to be an agent or an advisor are in it to make a good living, right? They want to make money and they didn't get into it to become a service person, right? My wife, I think I might have shared last time, she's an RN. She is born to serve people. I'm more on the sales side. Let service people serve. They're better at it. What I'm getting at is with our organization, we close the deal, like Ryan was saying earlier. He works with Brian from our organization. Brian closes the deal, and then we do everything. We do the case management, the applications, the underwriting. We do the annual reviews. We do everything. What is Ryan's job? Go find more business, make more money. It frees you up. Yep. And so then people say, well, okay, but we got to split, right? We got to split the commission. I can show you our video. We have a 2-minute video we can show you that shows the actual math that you can go off and close your own life insurance case and keep 100% of the commission and do all the work. Or you could work with an organization like ours and split the commission 50-50 and get double the amount. And we do all the work with the same dollar amount and the same client.
That's just, I sit
now,
here.
If we're just talking business, how does that not make sense? Who would want to do all the work for half the money? And this isn't a sales thing. We'll show you exactly how it works and how our strategy works. So again, it's working smarter. You've heard that your whole life, but in business, they don't always tell you how to do it. We teach our grade schoolers how to do it, but how do I do it in business? That's what I want to try and teach you, how to do it in business. Yeah, Ryan?
So there's 2 or 3 things I want to bring up that are really key. Number one, you're not an IMO. You guys are actually helping independent agents out there. You bring them in. You keep doing your business. We just show you how to do things you can't do currently. Kylie and I, with Annuity Fundamentals, we have these 6-week-long classes that teach people how to move from health to wealth. And we give you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And we have found that the people that struggle the most with the implementation of these fundamental skills are the independent one-man bands. The guy who sits at the kitchen table, and they are the marketing department, the compliance department, the sales, the leads, the admin, everything. And
service.
Yep, the whole bit. And those guys and gals struggle with the implementation of this simply because they're trying to do everything. The groups that we have found to be the most successful are when we've got an office, a clear leader, agents down there, or a structure of some kind where they can, one person to kind of hold them accountable and teach them and go from there. And because they've now divvied up the responsibilities, that's my closer, this is the person that's doing these other skills. And I sit here and I look at it, and it was, I remember Angelique, who's our business partner. Love Angelique, one of the most gifted salespeople I've ever met. She has got a knack. I mean, it's in her DNA on doing fact finding and building relationships with clients. And the way she thinks is, I can't talk to this client about a product or a solution until I know everything about it. I can't. And when she was a new agent, her biggest fear was getting asked a question that she had no idea to. And we would go through, and she would script it out, and then I'd just ask her some question she'd never heard, not trying to be mean. It became me trying to be mean later, but at the beginning, it was just me just trying to just ask a question. Then I get a deer in the headlights look. But that answer of, I work with some of the best tax professionals in the country, or estate documents, no, we've got people on our team that can handle your estate planning, or fill in the blank. So this is just one aspect of, okay, it's like you stay in your lane. If your job's to find people, and if you're the Medicare guy, be the Medicare guy, but let's add a life guy or a financial and annuity fundamentals, an annuity guy or gal to your business, to your team, and you can do so much more. Just one more quick thing before back to you, John, is I remember when I was promoted to be the district manager. And at that point in time, I had a couple of hundred clients that I was taking care of, and I was trying to be a manager and an agent at the same time. And because if I don't take care of these clients, that's my income. They're Medicare clients. I need to manage them. And I was driving back and forth like twice a month. It was like 6 hours each way to where I used to live, to where my new office. And finally, the owner of the agency sat me down and said, I need you to do something. And it's like, what that? I need you to be a manager. Don't worry about your clients. Find somebody to take care of it. You take care of your agents. And I was very narrow, myopic. Oh, I've got to make income. I've got to support a family, and on and on. And he's like, you will. And I didn't believe him. And it took him 2 or 3 of those conversations before I finally said, all right, fine, I'll do it. My income tripled 12 months later because I focused on my job. And I, like Kylie says, learn your role, stay in your lane, and kind of go, don't try to do everything. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. That's why you got to have the structure, right? The structure in place. Because think about it. I want to ask a question that will, I think, answer your question. Let's just take 5 things that a client, financially speaking, might be thinking of. They might be thinking of their investments, their stocks, bonds, CDs, etc., 401ks. They might be thinking about insurance, leaving a legacy, things like that. They might be thinking about annuities, and income's important to me. They might be thinking about lending or debt, or they might be thinking about taxes. Every agent wants to know, especially when they're new in the business, like, I only do one of those. Who should I talk to, and what language should I use? So the answer, the question I want to ask is, which of those 5 do you think most people wake up thinking about? And before you answer, think about it. Which one of those 5 do most people wake up thinking about? My answer, unscientific answer, is all of them. We have 350 million people in the country, and they're different families. You go door to door, and they're all going to be different, aren't they? So you're starting out 80% in the hole if you're a one-trick pony. Don't do that. Start out 5 for 5, knowing no matter what door you speak to, what family you speak to, you can help take care of them. That's the biggest message today. That's the biggest message, is to know that if you work, and if it's not our team, find a team that does have that kind of backing for you. I'm open to that. I'm not trying to sell to you. I'm just trying to help you build your business in a way that is built to last. And built to last is not the kitchen table, one-man band trying to get all the answers and do all the service. It's you are here to introduce people to something that will change their life. And you bring a partner in for their expertise doing it. Think about it. If no matter what of those 5 they answer, how cool would it be, just for fun, for you to say, I know the guy that was the top advisor at Schwab for 5 straight years, and he's part of my team. Let's get him on the phone. You think you would close any deals? Right? I think I shared about her last year. We had a gal that made $30,000, made what a teacher made, and she just passed $300,000 this week. Because she's like, I'm going to lean on John all day long. So whether you lean on me or you lean on somebody on our team, it just is like, she's like, I don't even have to try when I bring partners on who have the gray hair, getting there. They have the experience. They have what people are looking for. It feels really good. It's really cool. And if you can partner with a firm like ours or another one that you find out there, and the revenue is still more than if you were doing it by yourself, it's like, wow, what was I thinking? This is a no-brainer. I've got a team now, and no matter what of those 5 financial subjects they bring up, all I need to be able to say is, tell me more about it, because you're a professional listener, and write the notes down. Oh, and then what happened? Oh, how does that make you feel? Okay, do you have a plan to address that? Let's talk about a plan to address that. Let me bring my team on, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Agents, if you're listening, and you should be, from John Carter himself, someone who's taken an office from 400 out of 400 to #1 in 1 year, this man knows what he's talking about. He knows what it's like to build a team and to make it long-lasting. And if he's saying you need a team and you need other people in your corner, and he is successful and he's been in the industry for going on 28 years, I think that's something you need to really let sink in, and to understand that you shouldn't do it all. Know your role, and surround yourself with people that you have confidence in. My gosh, if I said, oh yeah, I got John, he'll take care of you. Could you imagine what a weight that would be off of everyone's shoulders, especially yours? To know full well that when John gets in this conversation, or X, right, person into that conversation, that they're an expert in that part of the industry, you no longer have to worry about it, and you still get compensated on the back end. I mean, that's really, we're trying to do the far reach, and John has mastered that. He has a ton of people working with him and on his team, and he's willing to be on yours. All you have to do is ask some questions. So if you're looking to take your business to the next level, open your mouth, get uncomfortable, ask some questions, be embarrassed, because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get better. And John knows, as I do, and Ryan, that it takes a village. Not one person can do it all. And that's why he's saying, let's do it together. If you want to go fast, you go alone. You want to go far, you go together. Thank you so much, Sean. I think any agent watching this should have a full page of notes. I'm doing the interview, and I have
Are we out of time?
Notes. We're getting close.
Are we out of time, or can I share a story?
No, please share a story. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and I might have shared part of this, but we just closed the final part of it this week. We have an advisor or an agent who we reached out to 8 months ago and said, hey, this is how we help people. Stop being a one-person band. He's like, okay, let me check you out first. I want to know that I can trust you and like you and everything. He did, and he goes, okay, I've got someone who's actually selling their business, and it's going to be a pretty good amount. Can you help? I did the next 5 phone calls with the client. That agent did nothing, literally nothing. And we sold the practice. We are taking care of his taxes, and we're only charging him what we saved him on those sales proceeds. That's amazing. He doesn't pay unless he saves. And then, oh, by the way, that was, by the way, the hook. That's any client's hook who's selling a business or pays a lot in taxes. Tell them we have a partner that'll only charge you on what they save you. Awesome. And Anyway, we closed an insurance deal with him. That agent just got a check for $540,000.
Holy!
I did the work. He actually spoke like 10 times, during those several months. Not everyone's going to be that big, but now cut that number, slice it by 5 or 10, a fifth of that or a tenth of that. That's pretty significant. If you can your job is to find people of affluence and have the confidence to know that there's a team that will step in and close deals and take care of it. Why do we like it? Because we have the strategy. We need people to find people. You find the people, we close the deal, we do the strategy, we make your clients a great, we give them financial peace of mind for the rest of their lives, and it just works. It's a great partnership that way. So I want you to think big numbers. Same advisor came to us with a client who could do $70,000, not $2.5 million, could do $70,000, and that one just closed, and he just got paid thousands of dollars. For those of you who are like, well, let's start small. He again did none of the work. He brought us the person, we closed the deal, did the underwriting, got the case funded, and he gets the check. And he's like, I think we're going to do a lot more. He's got 6 new clients in underwriting right now because he knows he can trust us. He flew up here and we met and shook hands. He can trust us and we'll do the work for him. It's just a great partnership. That's what I would suggest to agents, is find a group you can plug into that gives you credibility. You go out and hustle and just find people. Well, who do I talk to? Everyone.
Yep.
If you have to ask that question, you don't have the confidence yet that I want you to have. I want you to have confidence of this kind of a team that you're like, I can talk to anyone because everyone has financial needs. That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for somebody who's going to buy life insurance or buy an annuity. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for somebody and their needs, and let me ask them about it and then introduce them. Cool?
Fantastic. Holy smokes. I'm sure if you're watching this, your heart should have just dropped at $500,000 commission and talking to the client 10 times. I mean, that's just having the opportunity and knowing what to do with it. I'm sure we've all had clients who sit down and their net worth is more than you can count on your 10 fingers. And so you say, okay, well, they obviously know what they're doing, so I'm not going to ask them any questions and I'm just going to get into Medicare. And you just leave the opportunity instead of saying, I can help. I have someone on my team. And then giving them over to John and having him do all of the heavy lifting. That's incredible. I mean, that's talk about surrounding yourself with people who are going to improve your life. John and his organization are definitely at the top of my list.
And if you do talk to a client, like I spoke to this person selling their business, do you think I was like, hey, we have life insurance, hey, we have annuities, hey, we have Medicare? No, never mentioned it once. It was all, where are you at? What are your concerns? This guy was super fearful. He's coming into this windfall and he's like, taxes number 1 and keeping my income number 2. And I was like, cool, we can address both. Sound good? He's like, you can? Great. Under one roof? Great. And that's a 20-second version of what happened. It's not selling product. Don't sell product. Sell that you care about them. Sell that you are going to dive into their life and personalize the solution to them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. John, as always, thank you for coming on with us. This is gold. This is great stuff. And the thing about it is that my biggest fear is an agent's going to sit in there and listen to this and think, oh, man, that's cool, but I'm not there yet. That's not me. And I'm like, why not? Why not? I mean, it's
plug in. Yeah, you gotta just plug in. It's like that novel I had to read in high school and college, and it's like, I'm never going to get there. And it's like, well, open the book first, knucklehead. And so I'd by Sunday afternoon, okay, it's due tomorrow. and once you start reading it, the pages just start flipping. Just start flipping the pages. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
Try.
If you're not ready to go, go wash dishes for a living. But you know that you're better than that. You are. You want to make the money. Let's go. Just take the step. Get on my email. Join our every other Thursday calls. Whatever it takes. Just plug in. And if it's not with us, Ryan and Kylie can point you in the right direction. Just plug in somewhere that's good and healthy.
Every other Thursday call. Do a quick plug on that. What is that exactly? I didn't know. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah. Our CEO, Kirk, and I, as vice president, and 2 others, we get on a call every other Thursday at 2 o'clock Mountain Time. We can get a link and either send it out or post it in this chat where people can go and register for it. and get that link. And it's an hour every week of education about a lot of insurance, but also investments and other things. And conversations kind of like we were having today. Very similar, that we just keep feeding you.
Email that to me. Email those links to me if you would, please. I'll make sure that both that and how to get on your mail list are in the notes on this, if you could please, John. So
Perfect.
We'll get those for you.
You got it.
All right.
Yes. John, thank you so much for joining us. I swear I typically like our 30-minute conversations, but when you're on, I want to stretch that to an hour because it's electric. Thank you so much. I know Ryan is as stoked as I am just for this episode. There's such good information, and what you have is passion about your business, and that comes through. Whether it's audio or visual, people will understand that you're the real deal. And I mean, with compensation like that, why wouldn't you hitch your wagon to him? I mean, at the end of the day, you got to just try. There's so many agents out there. I'm talking to you. Just try it. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work out and you go to the next, just like with clients. So get yourself out there, get uncomfortable, have conversations that you've never had before, and start talking to people like John Carter, and you will have longevity in this career like you never thought.